There are many good videos on YouTube that explain the mathematical nature of the number e, but this video is different. It is going to explain a universal process, that is, a physical property of the universe, giving us a reason why the number e is so important in so many totally diverse subjects. Euler's number e can be found everywhere in such diverse things as radioactive decay, temperature change, probability theory, electronics, harmonic motion, chemistry, biology, and how the growth rate of interest on money is relative to the length of each time period it is calculated to. These are just a few of the subjects that are connected to Euler's number e. But there is one thing that connects all the diverse subjects that the number e is connected to, and that is they are all processes over a period of time. And I believe this is the key to understanding why the number e is everywhere in nature and physics. Einstein said that everything is vibrations, but if everything is just a form of energy vibration, then these vibrations must be forming what we see and feel as the passage of time. In such a process, we would have new vibrations continuously coming into existence, and others decaying away and becoming part of the past. This is the universal concept, or physical property of the universe, that forms Euler's number e. The number e is a constant because the future is always 100% based on the past, as a universal process of energy exchange. It makes no difference whether the energy exchange is representing growth or decay. In this theory, at the smallest scale, the future and the past are represented by matter-antimatter annihilation, with the 100% antimatter annihilation representing the past. In such a process, the future is unfolding at the smallest unit of vibrational energy, the light quanta or photon of quantum mechanics. Space and time are properties of quanta and not the other way around. Each photon vibration only occurs once, but the process of energy exchange is continuously forming the ever-changing world of our everyday life. We measure this process as a period of time relative to the atoms of the periodic table. The number e is part of the very nature of randomness itself, because the uncertainty of everyday life at the smallest scale is formed by the probability function or quantum wave particle function of quantum mechanics. In my other videos, I explain this process in much greater detail, but in this video I want to explain how the number e can be part of this geometrical process. The number e doesn't have a simple geometrical definition, but it is linked to constants that do, in one of the most beautiful equations known to man. This equation takes the form of Euler's identity. The idea is that e would represent a rate of change as time and space unfolds, with Euler's identity being interwoven into the dynamic fabric of space-time, with the +1 representing 1 photon equals 0 time, t equals 0, the moment of now, within an individual reference frame. Within such a reference frame, the number e represents a constant of continuous change, of either growth or decay. Also, the number e represents the smoothing out of quanta into the ever-changing curvature of space-time. A good way to visualize this is to take the exponential function and change the coordinating system from Cartesian coordination to polar coordination. When we do this, the graph turns into a logarithmic spiral that is self-similar, with all the branches having the same shape and rotational angle. This can be seen if we draw a tangent line of the spiral in red. The radial lines that started from the center point of the spiral are in black. What we find is the angle between any pair of these two lines will be the same, and since it is self-similar, the inner spiral will have the same property. This static diagram of a spiral has similarities with the number e, but we have to change this static diagram into something dynamic that is changing over a period of time to see the true nature of the number e. If we rotate or spin the spiral, we can see the angles remain constant over a period of time. We can imagine the spiral growing or expanding out from the center, representing Euler's constant e. Such a spiral has the potential to expand out forever, just as the number e, as an irrational number, never repeats and continues forever, forming something new. In this theory, the irrational numbers in our mathematics represents the infinite nature of space and time. This is why, when we consider something static, like the fixed ratio of a circle to its diameter, we find that the only possible way of analyzing the facts so we can determine the fixed value of pi is to express the relation in the form of an infinite series. Therefore we find pi and the imaginary number I in Euler's identity, representing the dynamic geometry of space-time that is relative to the constant e as the future unfolds, photon by photon. Multiplying by the imaginary number I is a rotation, with the imaginary numbers always being at right angles to the real numbers. In this theory, this is because electromagnetic fields are always at right angles to each other. The positive 1 and the negative 1 represents the positive and negative of electromagnetic waves. Therefore, we even have an objective reason for the start of the Fibonacci numbers, 0, 1, 1. When the quantum wave particle function or probability function is reformulated as a linear vector, each new vector is formed by adding the two previous vectors together. This forms the Fibonacci sequence. At the most fundamental level, this represents a process of spherical symmetry forming and breaking that forms the imperfect spiral symmetry of life that can be seen as the Fibonacci spiral in nature. When the spherical symmetry is broken, it forms spiral symmetry in the form of the Riemann surface rising up out of the complex plane, forming a spiral pattern. Each time we go around the origin, 2 pi cylindrical symmetry has to be added, and we find ourselves on another sheet of the complex plane. Pi represents a semicircle of the complex plane, with 2 pi representing a complete rotation. This is why the Planck constant is linked with 2 pi, representing a constant of action in the geometrical process we see and feel as the flow of time. This process forms the 3 dimensional space of our everyday life, with a past we can never change and a future that is always uncertain. There will always be uncertainty or probability at the quantum level and in our everyday life, because the imaginary number I is the square root of -1, representing the rotational symmetry, 2 pi, that maintains the quantum wave particle function, or probability function, at t equals 0. This represents the probability and uncertainty of everyday life that at the smallest scale of this process is represented mathematically by Heisenberg's uncertainty principle of quantum mechanics. Thanks for watching. Please share and subscribe. It will help the promotion of this theory.